I knew we were getting some, but I thought that would be on this. So now we have 5 on this and 3 more.
We do.
So we have a regular meeting.
It's okay. We do.
That's okay. I just want to make sure I'm all lined
Are we
up.
ready, Michael? Okay, welcome everyone to the November 20th meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety. The first item on our agenda is the approval of today's agenda. We have 3 additional items that I propose we place at the end of today's agenda after the engineering request. So we have a road closure request and a stormwater request and a legal request. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. And that passes unanimously. The first action item on our agenda today is the opening of bid opportunities. And as these are just proposals for services, we will not be reading the numerical amounts, but just acknowledging those that have been submitted.
We know if there are any other late items?
Is there anyone else who wants to submit a bid today? Okay, the first bid is from Solcient Energy. We'll keep that in there. Second bid. Is from JBK Development. And the third one is from Solar Energy Systems LLC. Is there a motion from the board regarding these bids?
I move that we refer these bids to the legal department for review for the solar array.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is the request from the legal department. Welcome, Mr. Schuler.
Good afternoon, board. Don Schuler with the legal department. The proposal is a resolution 2025-32 is to approve the interlocal agreement with Elkhart County for the reconstruction of the bridge on College Avenue crossing Horn Ditch. This is primarily to permit the county is going to appropriate and fund the bridge work, which is their kind of asset as part of that project. But by doing this interlocal, we can combine it in one letting project through NDOT. So we only have one contractor out on the road at a time. So it's just kind of trying to make things more efficient. The interlocal was approved by the council Monday night and will be going to redevelopment commission tomorrow for their approval. And my understanding is that the county commissioners approved it in theory with some technicalities at their meeting on Monday, and it was on the county council agenda today for approval. So we're just trying to get all the approvals lined up for this project. The overall project is supposed to let on December 10th, I believe. So we're trying to track everything towards that, but I'm happy to answer any questions if there are.
That is a lot of layers of approval. Thank you for your tenacious work on that. Questions, comments, or a motion?
So we could kill the whole thing.
We could. We can.
You might
Please
have
don't.
people in engineering after you on that. I don't know. That College Avenue project's a pretty big deal. So
It is. We have a motion from the
Yes,
board.
we do. I move we adopt resolution 2025-32, the interlocal agreement with the county of Elkhart for reconstruction of the bridge on College Avenue crossing Horn Ditch.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions or comments from anybody on the board or in the audience? Seeing none, we'll move back to the board for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have a proposal from Carlisle Utility Contractors. Welcome.
Glad to be here. My name is Guy Griner. I'm representing NIPSCO and at this point Carlisle, I guess. And we've already obtained the right-of-way permit from the Director of Public Works to cross the road. We're doing horizontal directional drilling to install communications cables for NIPSCO. And we have also submitted the plan for the traffic control. We're just trying to get that approved.
Okay, thank you. Yes, additional comments or
Oh, okay.
Brad Minnick, Engineering Department. Good afternoon, Board. The
Good
traffic
afternoon.
control plan has been reviewed and approved. Just want to touch real quickly. We're looking at the work commencing the 24th, 25th, and 26th. So early next week, right? During daylight hours.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
the Thanksgiving miracle. All right. Any other questions, Brad?
No.
Okay,
Mayor, I'd like to note for the record that this request was submitted by Carlisle. And Mr. Carlisle, Josh Carlisle, said he would be here for the meeting, so I don't know why he's not here because he's the one who submitted this request.
okay, thank you. Questions, comments, or a motion from the board?
I move that we approve the daytime lane closures for 300 feet at 301 Kircher Road, November 24 through 26 for a directional bore to install a 2-inch conduit under the crossing and crossing Kircher Road in front of 300 Kircher Road for NIPSCO.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions or comments from anybody on the board or in the audience? All right, seeing no one, we'll move back to the board for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. And that passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy Thanksgiving. Next, we have a request from the engineering department. Welcome, Brad. Back.
Thank you. So this request is presented on behalf of Ancon Construction Company. They're requesting closure of New Street from the north side of West Pike Street to south of Alley 266 per the attached exhibit. The anticipated dates of street closure will be Tuesday, December 2nd and Wednesday, December 3rd, weather permitting. And that's in association with the Burton Laundry construction project.
Thank you. Thanks for pulling that up, Michael. Questions, comments, or motion?
Hey, based on the weather permitting part, do we need to have it a little more open than the 2nd and 3rd, or at least acknowledge that if weather doesn't allow, they have 2 days some other time?
Do you have a preference on an extended period of time as an alternative?
If an extension is necessary, I'll bring it to the Board of Works with an update when the floor is open the following day on the 3rd.
We're trying to save you the trouble.
We don't,
Mike's doing you a solid.
Thank you, Michael.
I would say as long as we say you have 2 days, other than that, if for some reason that doesn't work. Is that
Sounds
Okay.
acceptable by me. I assume we'll see if the other board members agree.
I move that we approve a temporary street closure of New Street between Pike Street and Alley 266 as requested by Encon Construction for the Burton Laundry construction project. And they're requesting Tuesday and Wednesday, December 2nd and 3rd, with the possibility if weather does not allow that, they have 2 days. Work similarly.
Bodie, do we need to put an end date that
Way Michael described that is they'd have 2 days to work and just, and weather permits them to do those 2 days.
okay. All right. Thank you. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments from the audience or the board? Seeing none, we'll move back to the board for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Let's see, we have the Wilden Avenue reconstruction request, additional item. Is that you, Andrew?
Good afternoon, Board. Andrew.
Oh, did
Lund.
I skip over the Pazer? I'm so sorry. I'm into my new thing. Sorry. No, no. The Pazer. Yes, the Pazer report. Sorry. That is you. Are you wanting Michael to open the document? Okay. The Pazer report. There we go.
Okay, before I get into the highlights of the report, you should have received it this afternoon. It's in its entirety, but these are just the maybe the Cliff Notes version. But I'd like to introduce the team that collaborated on it.
Yeah, I was one of the preparers of this, Maddie Lehman. I am now the Director of Innovation and Technology, joined just this week by Kendra Collette as our new asset manager. The three of us tackled putting this plan together. It was new to all of us to be able to do that, which is part of the tardiness on the report. But I think the PowerPoint gives you a good overview of what's in there. And we've got some page references so you can follow along with the graphs as we go through the presentation.
Thank you, Maddie. And Kendra, welcome aboard. And Brad.
It was baptism.
Fresh energy and enthusiasm for the project.
It was baptism by fire for Kendra. So she jumped in with both feet. So we're happy to have her aboard. So just a review of pavement asset management. And a strategic approach for better, more cost-effective road life cycle management. If you recall from last year, it's a proactive data-driven process to operate, maintain, and improve road networks instead of reacting to repairing them when they fail. Why it's better, we want to maximize the service life of pavements while reducing long-term costs, investing small amounts, similar in my mind to preventative maintenance on a vehicle. If you take care of it, it's going to last you a long time. Small amounts in preventative maintenance on good roads prevents them from deteriorating into poor condition, requiring more expensive repairs later. And the Pazer rating system allows us to forecast future performance based on the appropriate treatment applications and use them to prioritize projects. And we have the Pazer system breaks down the network into three classifications. You got local roads, which are by classification lower volume. And then you've got collector and arterial roads, and we'll get into those a little bit more deeply. But the goal for the local roads, we've set a target 4 or higher in the Pazer rating. And while 4 is still considered a poor classification in the system, we want to focus on our higher volume roads, and we have a target of 6 or higher for the collector and arterial roadways. And that again is based on traffic volumes. So how are we doing? 2022, we were just below a 4, we're 3.98. 2023, we had an uptick, 4.13, a little bit of a downtick the following year, 2024 to 395, and 2025 is our high water mark. I think it's the best number we've had in recent memory. The Pazer system is approaching 10 years old, so 4.3 for this year. That's the average Paisley rating across all 3 road classifications. And that's on page 10.
Well done, team.
We want to, again, talk about local, collector, and arterial. The local, we're at a 4.19. And so we're meeting the grade there. Our collector and arterial, we've got a little bit of work to do. We're nearly to a 5, but again, we want to have a target of 6 for those higher volume roads. And the note there, coming in 2026, we want to set targets rather than just saying, hey, we want to get to 6. We want to establish a timeline to get there incrementally. And that's going to take a collaborative effort with several stakeholders across the city. And we're going to set responsible targets to raise our collectors and arterials towards that 6 and working within financial constraints. So we'll get there. I'm confident of that. The next slide, the 2025 pavement conditions using Paisley. A look there at the pie chart. The red is our poor rating 1 to 4, and that is approximately, can't see it. Thank you, 67%. And the remaining pieces comprise our fair and good roads, between 5 to 7 for fair and good coming in at 8 to 10. Just for reference, the rating table, a 9 or a 10, no defects on the road. 5 to 7 or 8, 5 to 8 rating, excuse me. You're starting to see environmental distresses, cracking due to freeze thaw, cracking due to oxidation. It's just starting to weather. And then the bottom of the scale, 1 through 4, structural distresses, it's starting to break down. And that's on the bottom end of the scales when we look at more extensive rehab or reconstruction efforts. So we want to take care of what we've got before we get to the point of full replacement. The next slide talks about a mix of fixes, treatment approach. The picture didn't show up quite as well as I'd hoped, but the bottom right is road construction. We, in the last several years, have added geo fabric to our, as an underlayment to the road, to bolster our service life. And that's at the bottom right. You can see the rolls of that being rolled out in a reconstruction project. The long picture to the left is a milled surface, which looks strikingly similar to the geo rolls. And then the upper right is, of course, crack sealing operation. That's our first line of defense. On the roads that are in the 8 to 10 range, we want to prevent water intrusion and lengthen their service life. The next slide, the treatment summary. This one, there's a lot of information there. The table basically runs down top to bottom the service treatments, if you will, in our toolbox. Rejuvenator and crack sealing are our surface treatments on the front end of the service life of the roadway. Overlay is the first invasive fix. You're putting our lip of asphalt on top of the existing road. Mill and resurface improves the rideability. It's a little bit more a deeper fix, if you want to say. Full depth reclamation of the asphalt, reconstruction, the last 2, concrete and asphalt. Again, taking care of what we have to prolong the reconstruction or postpone reconstruction as long as possible. We want to balance everything in our toolbox to get as much service life as we can out of our roadways. Next slide. Again, we're revisiting the table from earlier to say that we're making strides to date, and we want to keep that positive trend. The next slide. The big question, where does the money go, right? We'll touch on that in this slide and the next. Road ratings of 10, no treatment required. 9, we're looking at rejuvenation of the surface, lower cost per mile, performance, in the 5 to 7 year range, and the cheapest, the least expensive of the repair life cycle. As you work down through the crack sealing, the milling, resurfacing with various levels of patching and then full reconstruction, you can see the cost per mile goes from 28,000 initially down to 1.5 million to reconstruct a mile of roadway. So it gets expensive quickly. So it just underscores the need to take care of what we have, right? Average 5% inflation rate is important to remember, so that erodes our buying power with the dollar year over year. We've also adjusted the cost. This is important to note. We've adjusted the cost to recent Goshen bid tabs, rather than previously we were looking at statewide averages. So we are applying what we know to be locally anticipated pricing. The pricing structure, there's different contractors across the state with different pricing tables and level of competition. So we want to be responsive and representative of what we can expect when we open the envelopes. So the next slide here, with a base funding goal for next calendar year of $4 million, we were targeting an allocation of 5% rejuvenation, which is the surface treatment, crack sealing also 5% target approximately $200,000 each. Rejuvenation, we can go 7 miles approximately. We can do 20 miles of crack sealing with that 5% allocation. And then as you move down the remedies, the milling paving is approximately 40% of our budget and about 4.5 miles. The last most expensive option is full reconstruction. We're targeting a little over a mile, and that's anticipated cost of $2 million. So it does not include a potential influx of funding from the Goshen redevelopment tax increment financing, and the budget allocation is based on the current treatment plan. So we're going to kind of mix and match as we look down the road, abandon what's not working for us and embrace new technologies so we can get the best out of the taxpayer's dollar investment. The next page. Again, they've done a wonderful job with the colors. I would have been up here with a dry erase board. It wouldn't have been pretty. So the 2.5 base funding, which is the current calendar year, would result in a 5% decrease in the poor road conditions in year 5 and a 43% increase in good condition in year 10. Basically, we'd be losing ground is the short of that. That's what we try to depict with the graph there. The $4 million base funding, if we projected that over the next decade, we'd see a 10% decrease in poor road conditions. So our worst roads would be getting better. There would be fewer of them, is another way to say that, and a 62% increase in good condition in year 10. The important assumptions there are a flat budget, standard deterioration rates. We're blessed with winter, sometimes 11 months out of the year, sometimes less in northern Indiana. So we'll be responsive to that, but our best projections available don't really accommodate that. And then we're also looking at consistent treatments. So that's a lot to digest. It's not, it's a work in progress, right? So in summary, the last slide, we want to keep the roads in good condition with the right fix in the right place at the right time. But it takes a collaborative effort, and we're heading in the right direction. And on that positive note, so with
We're
that.
heading in the right direction before SEA 1. Yes. Thank you, Brad. Questions from the board?
Yeah, on the statewide average cost versus here, ideas as to why we'd be higher than the statewide average?
Well, and this is not exclusive to Goshen. I live in LaPorte. We've got similar problems over there. Just there's not an abundance of contractors in northern Indiana. So the ones that we do have, they do a good job. Other municipalities have more contractors in the game, I guess, and you're just it's hard when I think back to when I started in that years ago. You know, northern Indiana's vastly different. We used to call it the citrus grove down south, right? So our winters are substantially harsher than what they have down south. And so that doesn't address contractors directly, but it's a piece of the puzzle, right? So we have to play the cards we're dealt, right? And by incorporating recent bid tabs local to the Goshen community, that's what we're doing, right? I would love to get the prices average statewide, but that's just not something we have the opportunity to do.
I've heard Dustin quote the number of freeze thaw cycles we have in Goshen, but I can't remember the number. The number that was in my head was 52, but yeah, how many freeze thaw cycles did we have last year? Okay. Yeah. Between what time period? Just December to March. So there's more freeze thaw cycles that make it substantially, it wreaks much more havoc on our pavement when it freezes and thaws that frequently.
Maybe that's why down south
If it would stay frozen, that would be okay.
they have more contractors that don't have to worry about their job. They can do a shoddy job and it lasts because freeze and thaw as much. Where
Nope.
here,
Very well be.
they get beat up if the road doesn't.
Job security for the engineering department and the contractor community. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
So,
Well, thank you all for the report. Any additional questions from the board before we open it up to questions from the audience? Any questions or comments from the audience? All right, we'll move back to the board for approval and adoption of this report as presented. Do we have a motion to approve the report as presented?
I move that we approve and accept the 2025 pavement asset management plan.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And now we shall move on to the next additional request, which is a request from the engineering department regarding Wilden Avenue reconstruction.
Afternoon, Andrew Lund, Goshen Engineering. We are very happy to bring this to the board. Apologize that it is a walk-in item, but we received it after a little later than usual for the agenda items. But we're glad to be requesting the board to authorize the mayor to sign the recommendation for acceptance form for the Wilden Avenue reconstruction project. This is stating that the contract is sufficiently complete and that we are recommending to NDOT that they accept the project. Engineering department has reviewed the project. We have since 2023, and we would endorse the recommendation.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
I move that we authorize the mayor to sign the recommendation for acceptance form for submission to INDOT, and this is for job number 2014-0035, the Wilden Avenue Reconstruction Project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, we'll move back to the board for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. That passes unanimously. We shall break out the champagne. Thank you. Thank you, Counselor. Yes. Next, we have the 9th Street closure. This is a request from me that Dustin is presenting today.
Yeah, Dustin Saylor, Director of Public Works and Utilities. So this is for South 9th Street between Plymouth Avenue and Jackson Street. The city has an opportunity to work with a couple of the property owners. There's several semi-tractor trailers along the railroad corridor, and we have worked with the property owners to have those removed. And in doing so, we need to get them relocated away from the train tracks. And as a temporary location, we've identified South 9th Street, again, between Plymouth and East Jackson, to place those, get them away from the tracks, and then move them further towards a final resting place outside of that corridor. Timeline on this is we would like to be able to close it as early as tomorrow, and that closure could extend up through December 19th.
Thank you, Dustin. Questions, comments, or a motion?
I move that we approve the closure of South 9th Street from Plymouth Avenue to Jackson Street beginning Friday, November 21 through Friday, December 19th, if needed.
Second.
Second.
Any additional questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, we'll move to the board for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. And that passes unanimously. Shannon. Last but certainly not least.
It's recommended that the board approve the terms and conditions and authorize mayor to execute the contract that was distributed to you with Roberts Environmental Services, LLC. And this is to perform a phase 1 environmental site assessment for the real estate at 1711 Eisenhower Drive North. Roberts will be paid $1,900 for these services.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or a motion from the board?
I move we approve and authorize the mayor to execute the contract with Roberts Environmental Services LLC to perform a phase 1 environmental site assessment for the real estate at 1711 Eisenhower Drive North.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions or comments from anybody in the audience? Hearing none, we'll move back to the board for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. And that passes unanimously. That brings us to privilege of the floor. Is there anybody here who wants to speak to the board? Welcome, Brad.
Just a quick public service announcement. If you recall last week, we had approved the Kennyland Tree Works closure and to remove that tree on South 7th Street. And that work was to commence earlier this week. He had called me to notify me that because of a conflict with NIPSCO, that he was not going to be able to get the work done until Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So I had notified several stakeholders of that initial closure and then revised it upon receipt of that information from him earlier this week. So as a courtesy to the board, I just want to update you that work is still scheduled. It just could not take place as anticipated.
Thank you, Brad. Much appreciated. All right. Anybody else? All right. Seeing no one, I move that we approve civil, city, and utility claims and adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
I was